some relatively shocking news. Josh McDaniels came out a couple days ago to announce that Derek Carr will be benched for 4th-round draft pick Jarrett Stidham. He's going to be benched for the next 2 games, so it's effectively ending Derek Carr's reign as a Raider completely. And my guess is, Josh McDaniels came out and said that, well, this is a mutual decision. He's going to step away from the team to avoid distraction. But if you look a little bit deeper into his contract, he's guaranteed a lot of money if he gets hurt. So I think they're avoiding paying him a large sum of guaranteed money, just to say, because the Raiders right now, they don't have a lot of money to spend. They do not have a lot of money to spend. So where do you see Derek Carr's career going forward? What does this move mean for the future of Derek Carr's career?
This move means that it's a foreshadowing of Tom Brady being the next quarterback for the Raiders.
So you're coming around now to my point of view here.
No, I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think that they're sending a message to the fans, and we're probably done with Derek Carr. I don't think Stidham is the answer at all. We've seen him play. Saw him play with the Patriots. I don't think he's definitely not the answer. If Tom Brady's going to be a free agent, he and Josh McDaniel had a lot of success together at New England. They like one another, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of talk about that. And I think that if they can strike a deal with Tom Brady, that's the end of Derek Carr.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
That's my prediction.
So I came out here with an instant reaction. I believe it might have been yesterday or the day before, where I basically said, you know what? The Raiders are in a perfect position. They can get off Derek Carr, not spend a large sum of money for his extension that he signed, I believe, earlier this offseason. What's great about this is that a few of the Raiders players, for instance, I believe I have Devontae Adams, a couple of Devontae Adams quotes here. We can bring this up right now. He had a couple very supportive quotes of his former college friend and quarterback. This was at a press conference right as soon as right when the news broke. He said, "Obviously, I don't think anybody was excited about it here. Him being one of my very good friends and the reason why I came here in the first place. I mean, I wouldn't be here right now if he wasn't here. So I think everyone knows how I feel about him. With that said, there's a process of how things go, and I'm not going to sit here and go on and on, but obviously I support my guy." And then on Instagram, he came out with an Instagram post supporting Derek Carr once again by saying, "This man gave everything he had. The reason I'm a Raider, one of the most disciplined and loving people I know, got my brother's back, whatever, through whatever. If you can't respect it, excuse my language, F you, love you, brah." So it was a very interesting day for Derek Carr and the Raiders.
I don't think Derek Carr played poorly enough to be benched.
Absolutely not.
You know? This is about something else. This is about the Raiders sending a message that they're strongly considering parting ways with him.
Right.
I really think that's it, because they're not out of the playoff picture, right? They still have a shot.
No. Technically,
it's like,
no.
what, a 4% chance of making it.
It's
14 different things have to happen for them to make it, but they're still not out. So I think this is, as I said, I think it's about the Raiders looking very hard at Tom Brady, and I don't think Brady's going to retire. So I was hoping he'd go back to the Patriots, but I think that this says to me that they're going to make a strong push for him, the Raiders, and he and Josh McDaniel have a special relationship there over many years, lots of success. I think they'd be excited to be back together.
I'm wondering how many organizations over the course of 7 years, 8 years, would love to have a quarterback that averages 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions, and has an average passer rating of about 94.
That's Derek Carr.
That's Derek Carr's career.
Yeah. No, he's not a bad quarterback. I don't think there's anything bad about him. And
averages 65% of his throws. How many organizations would love to have that?
Yeah, well, there'll be a lot of demand for him. If they'll be trading him, right? Because he has a contract for next year.
He has the no trade clause. They could opt to release him and serve like a $6 million penalty. They could try to trade him. There's a lot of options they can do, and also
they'll try to trade him if they can strike a deal with Brady.
Maybe, but there's a lot of options out there for Derek Carr. Derek Carr has the most come from behind wins, fourth quarter comebacks since entering the league in 2014. Would you believe, and I'm going to put this on this part of his team, since Derek Carr entered the league, the Raiders have averaged the 32nd ranked defense in the league. For all those who know the NFL, there's only 32 teams. His defense has ranked dead last since he entered the league.
How's it doing this year? It's better this year, right?
It's not very good on the passing defense. It's crazy because the Raiders, throughout his career, the defense has given up an average of 26 points a game throughout his career. It's unfair. It really is unfair. But here's also another crazy thing. In the more than 100 years of the NFL, Derek Carr, there's been 4 quarterbacks with 35,000 yards, 200 touchdowns, and 2% or less interception percentage. So every time he throws the ball, the chance of it getting picked off is 2% or less. 4 quarterbacks. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Derek Carr. That's it. Not Patrick Mahomes, not Josh Allen, not Joe Burrow. They might get there soon.
Who are the 4?
Tom Brady,
yeah,
Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Derek Carr. That's it.
That's good company to be playing in.
Not Peyton Manning, not Eli Manning, not Brett Favre, not all these all-time greats. There's 4 players, and Derek Carr's on the list of 35 or more passing yards, or at least 200 touchdowns, 2% or less interception percentage. So he's not a turnover machine. This season, you have to realize, this season was a complete fluke in his career. He hasn't had much of a worse season than this one. And yet, despite the fact, he said, yes, he does lead the league in interceptions, but Dak Prescott now has the same amount of interceptions in 7 less games. And no one's talking about how bad Derek Carr's playing because his defense is able to pick up the slack.
Dallas was horrible in the first half last night.
It was a game. Through I think four quarters. Through 3 quarters, it was a game.
How many turnovers did they have in the first half?
Of what? The
Dallas in the last night.
I know Dak Prescott had 3 turnovers himself.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have been critical of Derek Carr through some of the year, but I've also been a big fan of Derek Carr. I mean, I put him at the number 10 quarterback entering this year because he had a very, very good year. He had 6 game-winning drives last year, 3 fourth quarter comebacks. He had 4,800 yards. He brought his team to the playoffs, and his organization has been a mess since he entered. I think he's had 6 head coaches, a number of offensive play callers, and I've heard the same sort of excuse, right? The same reasoning for players like Baker Mayfield. He's had a number of coaches, but everyone criticizes him for it, right? They try to give him a pass, saying, "Oh, he doesn't have a consistent play caller." I've heard the same thing about Daniel Jones. He's had bad play callers, several play callers, and that's why he isn't being successful. I've heard the same excuse, but God forbid you bring in on Derek Carr, and all of a sudden, everything goes away. Last year, Henry Ruggs got arrested for a DUI manslaughter charge. He had to leave. John Gruden with his emails, he left the team. You bring in a interim head coach in Rich Bisaccia. I guarantee you, if Rich Bisaccia was the head coach of this team, they'd be more successful than Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels has never, and we've said this previously, there are some coaches in the league that are just coordinators. It's as simple as that. That's not a knock on them. That's playing to your strength. Josh McDaniels was not a good head coach when it came to the Denver Broncos. And honestly, it's crazy. Most coordinators under Bill Belichick are not good head coaches. It's just a sad fact.
Yeah, well, I think McDaniels has done better as the year's gone on. Right?
He's made some coaching decisions that I scratch.
The last game they lost, the cold weather. They didn't play well in the cold weather. But Derek Carr threw 3 interceptions. So
I'm not fully putting on the coaching. Derek Carr has had some very bad games this year.
And the Steelers have had the best defense now for quite a few games now. Their defense has been playing spectacular. So I don't put it all on Derek Carr. I think the Raiders are thinking about a different future. That's why. I think that's why I got benched. Not so much about his play. It's more about his about the future that they're thinking about.
Well, you say that, but Josh McDaniels came out a number of days ago saying that we just need to throw the ball better. Well, I think you need to. I think you need to coach better. I mean, a perfect example I have is you decide to go for 2 when you're about to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. When your defense through that first half couldn't stop nobody, they just started playing well right then and there. So you had a chance at that point to stop the Chiefs late in the fourth quarter after, if you decide to kick the field goal, potentially go to overtime. God forbid you win the toss. Your offense was playing lights out in that fourth quarter. You came from behind. You could have beaten Patrick Mahomes this season.
That was poor coaching.
It was horrible coaching.
Definitely.
Horrible coaching. I mean, it's just there's a lot of question marks here. A lot of question marks. You beat Justin Herbert this year as well, 27-20. So I'm not putting this all on coaching. I'm not putting this all on Derek Carr. But a lot of it has to go on Josh McDaniels because under Rich Bisaccia and even John Gruden, I feel bad for Derek Carr. John Gruden was the only coach he's had to ever actually like Derek Carr. Josh McDaniels doesn't like him. Jack Del Rio didn't like him. So
what about the interim coach there after Gruden?
Rich Bisaccia didn't even think he liked him, though.
Really? Because I thought that Derek Carr played great under him.
He did, but it didn't get the same vibe that it was that Derek Carr was really wanted there.
Huh.
And reports coming out saying that Josh McDaniels wasn't even responsible for this move. It was Mark Davis that came out and wanted him to be moved. So I think this is a monetary thing. He doesn't want to pay the $40 million guaranteed that Derek Carr would be owed if he gets hurt, and plus you don't want to pay his extension. He had a 3-year extension. So
no, that could be it. That could be the financial part of it is important, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and it's great that you're deciding to play Jarrett Stidham and what I call the Raiders. I don't know how they're going to be able to move the ball. I have no idea how they're going to be able to move the ball against the 49ers in this game coming up Sunday. It's going to be bad. It's going to be very, very bad for the
I don't think the Raiders have
team.
a chance this weekend.
I don't think either. And then you go play the Chiefs. You're going to go play the Chiefs in Week 18. How are you going to beat them with Jarrett Stidham? And I guarantee you this is not about finding or seeing what the younger talent has to do.
I don't think it does.
It's sad. And also, I got a lot of heat for my Raiders stance when it came to Tom Brady. That is not a bash on Derek Carr saying that the greatest quarterback of all time is a better replacement than you. If you got replaced by the greatest of all time, you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
How many years has Derek Carr been in the league?
He's been in since 2014, so he's played 9 years.
Okay.
He's made the playoffs once. But it's hard to make the playoffs.
I'd say the Jets will be looking at him if he's up for
The Jets are a great choice. I think the Giants could be a good choice. The Bucks, if Brady looks like he's 1 foot out the door already.
Yeah.
So I think he can move on. He can replace him. There's a lot of teams. I said that
Saints.
The Saints are a great choice. There are a lot of teams that I would take Derek Carr over their quarterback. Let's start with this one. Tua. Injury. We don't know what's going to happen with Tua's career now. So maybe. Mac Jones. I mean, I would choose Derek Carr over Mac Jones. He's a veteran guy.
I don't think the Patriots would do that.
Are you really?
I don't think they would trade for Derek
Carr. The fans have already turned on Mac Jones.
Well, we'll see. If he wins on Sunday, that would help him a lot.
Obviously, yeah. But I think Derek Carr. I mean, you would say Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Derek Carr.
I'm not saying he's better. I just don't think that the Patriots would be looking for Derek Carr.
The Jets need a quarterback. They would go for him. Baltimore, no, but Lamar, he's trying to get a contract done. So who knows what's going to happen
What's his injury anyway? He's not going to play.
It's a leg injury. He's missed his, I think,
What kind of leg injury, though?
I think he sprained his MCL, if I'm not mistaken.
He's been out a long time.
He has been out.
I don't think he's coming back either, right?
That's a big question mark of, it's a knee injury, sorry. He hasn't practiced in a very, very long time. And there's a chance, he just shuts it down and says, you know what? I'm going to get ready for my contract talk. Because if Tyler Huntley is starting in the playoffs, they're not going to win a playoff game. So, Pittsburgh, Derek Carr, Kenny Pickett. I like Kenny Pickett. He's a growing quarterback. But right now, I would pick Derek Carr over him. Cleveland, is this Deshaun Watson rust, or is he genuinely this bad now? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Jacksonville, no, I like Trevor Lawrence. Ryan Tannehill, he's a free agent this year. I would choose Derek Carr over Ryan Tannehill. Indianapolis, obviously over Matt Ryan. Houston's going to probably draft Bryce Hall, but as of right now, Derek Carr is the best quarterback for them. Kansas City, no. Chargers, no. Raiders, right now, yes, he's their best option. Denver, I don't think this is just an outlier for Russell Wilson. I'm going to keep saying this. This is going to be a trend for Russell Wilson. We saw this late in his Seahawks career. He couldn't cook like he could. That's because his run game was top 5 most of his career and when he was super successful with the Seahawks. So right now, Derek Carr is better than Russell Wilson. Philadelphia, no. Dallas, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe. I don't trust Dak Prescott. Like I said, 7 less games.
No, but
same
they gave
amount
him
of
a big contract.
Right. Giants, yes. Washington, yes. Minnesota with Kirk Cousins.
No.
Depends. Am I getting...
Well, Kirk Cousins was on a 1-year deal. He's a free agent this year.
Yeah. Detroit, I like Jared Goff. He's played phenomenal this season, but right now...
He's with them again next year for sure.
No, I do think so. Green Bay, no. Chicago, Justin Fields, I don't think so either. Tampa, yes. Carolina, yes. Saints, yes. Atlanta, yes. Seahawks, I think yes. Because right now, the Seahawks offense does not look great. The defense also does not look particularly good. Rams, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, there's an argument there. Matt Stafford's been injury-prone the last couple years. There's a question there. Arizona, Kyler Murray, now being afraid to run, tore his ACL, going to be out till November. There's a lot of question marks you got to say for that. So there's a number of teams I would pick Derek Carr as the better option than their
There's a lot of options for him.
So I think a lot of teams could be inquiring about him. I mean, right now he's probably the hottest free agent, or I guess trade asset right now in the market. So Derek Carr, I think, has a bright future. I think you give him some consistency in his organization. His organization isn't a complete mess. They move cities halfway through Derek Carr's career. Most people want to leave, and you got a whole franchise moving. So I think, you know what? I'm not putting this all on him. He's a hot commodity. I want to say Derek Carr's career is... you give him probably 7 more healthy years. We're talking about a dude who might get into like the 55,000 yard club here, and when you put him up there, that's an elite club. You're an elite company if you hit that mark.
Yeah.
And also, I want to say this: when it comes to the great quarterbacks, the Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, realistically, there's 5 quarterbacks where just them being on a team makes them Super Bowl contenders. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Depending on how you look at it, maybe a Justin Herbert. I think Tom Brady's in there. Aaron Rodgers, sometimes I would put him in that company. Jalen, and then you have the bottom 5, so 6 to 10, where they have to be in a great situation. Things have to go right for them to make to a Super Bowl. I think Dak Prescott's in that situation. Jalen Hurts is in that situation. You have a number of other quarterbacks that, and then you have like the 11 to 15, where things have to go your way to make it right. I think Derek Carr's in that company. I think a number of quarterbacks are in that company, and I think Jimmy G is in that company.
Jimmy G's out.
I'm talking about in general. If Jimmy G was healthy, I think he's in that 15 to 11 spot. I put him probably number 13 or 14, and Jimmy G's 1 spot below. Jimmy G for me has always been an above average quarterback. I put him above Kirk Cousins, above Ryan Tannehill, and I put Derek Carr obviously above them. I think Derek Carr is in between Jimmy G and Dak Prescott. And you know what? That's not horrible company to be in. You have a guy who averages 68% of his throws, another guy who puts up 4,500 yards. So, I think Derek Carr is a very good quarterback. I think we got to chill it down with the Derek Carr hate. A lot of quarterbacks don't have to deal with 6 head coaches.
I think he is. I agree with you. I think he's a good quarterback. I do think that part of this is a financial decision to bench him, and I think part of it is that they may be moving on from him.
It's just unfortunate. Josh McDaniels is now going to Jarrett Stidham. I mean, he did coach him in New England.
Yeah,
he did coach him. So we'll see. I think they're going to get absolutely crushed in this week. But